Flix with the Hicks, where we tell you about the movies. We tell you if they're great or if they really stink. Now it's time to start the show. Yeah, now it's time to go. Guess what? It's Flix with the Hicks.
Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Flix with the Hicks. I'm Greg, this is my lovely wife Janet. Each week we do a movie review or a film review of two films that we watched this last week on DVD. We always choose the best film of the week and the worst film of the week. This week I got tasked with picking the worst film of the week. And the film that I chose is Angels in the Outfield. It came out in 1994. It cost $31 million to make. It made $50 million in return, so it did make a profit. Now, this film had a really good cast. A really good cast.
Yep.
How could you go wrong with this cast? Okay, it starred Joseph Gordon-Levitt, Danny Glover, Tony Danza, Christopher Lloyd, and Ben Johnson. And the story revolves around Joseph Gordon-Levitt. He plays a kid who is in foster care. He's in a foster home. And he's wanting his family to get back together. His father comes to see him and tells him that he'll get the family back together when the Angels win the World Series. Now, Joseph Gordon-Levitt is a huge Anaheim Angel fan. And so he decides to call on divine powers and prays that please let the Angels win the World Series, basically. And they're just a horrible team. They're in last place. And all of a sudden, this angel appears, played by Christopher Lloyd. And he turns the Angels season around. Not only does he turn the season around, but Tony Danza's character, who is an aging ex-star baseball player, revives his career. Mm-hmm. And the Angels go on a win streak. Yeah. And there's lots of special effects in this with angels picking up players and carrying them over to where the ball is going to fall and catching the ball. And
it's cute.
It is cute. My problem with this film is it's a Disney film. My problem with this film is it's too cute. It's too sappy. It's so
it's for kids.
It's definitely for kids because I think adults would lose interest halfway through it, like I did. Mm-hmm. And I struggled. Got a gnat. Sorry. I struggled watching this film and staying awake because every time you turn around, something was happening where you go, oh, wow! Did you see that? And which is nice, but at the same time, it's so unbelievable.
Right.
The entire story is. Danny Glover plays the head coach of the team. Danny Glover did a good job. Danny Glover's always good in everything he does.
I like him.
I do too. And I like Joseph Gordon-Levitt a lot too.
I like Tony Danza. I like Christopher Lloyd. Awesome.
Yep, and Ben Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they had so many. I just don't know how they messed this film up.
Well, you know, it's a Disney flick, you know. And it's not going to be believable. And, you know, a single guy I can't tell you the end, but that's definitely not going to happen these days. And it was cute, y'all. It's great for probably a 6-year-old, 7-year-old.
I would even go up to like 12 or 13.
You think so?
I think so.
If they're into baseball.
If
they're into baseball.
I would say if this film was released on like the Lifetime network, I would have said, you know, that was enjoyable. But the idea that people were actually paying to see this, your kids will like it. You will probably sit through the film and think, it wasn't great. It wasn't bad. Which is kind of where I stand.
It's enough to keep the kids busy while you're doing dishes. No.
Yeah. But anyway. Overall, I would give this film 0 to 100 I'd give it a 47. I'd give it a 47, less than a 50.
Really?
Yeah. And I'm a huge baseball fan. Huge baseball fan.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, my entire life I've been a huge baseball fan. But there are so many other baseball films that were made really well, and this one, even though it was a baseball film,
he's just an old grouch.
I guess so. But yeah, I just thought that this film, had it been
That's it.
done right, could have really been a good
Yeah,
film.
and some of the footage was so bad. You know,
Some of the effects.
The effects, yeah.
Yeah, well, this was, this was, what, 28 years ago when it came out.
Okay, that's why, okay.
So that was state of the art for that time.
Right.
But, yeah, overall, I mean, if it came on TV and there was nothing else to watch, I would probably watch a little bit of it, but...
No, I'd put the news on. Even though it sucks, too.
Okay, Janet, what was your best film of the week?
Okay. This is just my opinion, you guys. I really like this movie. It's called Yanks. It's done in 1979. No big special effects. It is about a bunch of servicemen being stationed in Britain in a rural town during World War II, getting prepared for Normandy, and all these servicemen came into this rural little town, and how everybody was affected by it. Okay, it was a romantic type comedy drama thing. Okay, Richard Gere, Lisa Eichhorn, Vanessa Redgrave, William Devine, whatever. You know, the guy that does all the commercials for us old folks. Anyway.
For us old folks?
Yeah.
He does all the collectible gold coin commercials and
stuff like that. Yeah. Insurance, life insurance.
Yes.
Yeah,
Hartford.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, okay.
Anyway, it's a good little story. Okay, the local men there hated it that these guys were here. Now all the young girls were like goo and with all these servicemen, but the servicemen were known to take advantage of the girls. And there was this girl named Jean, which was played by Lisa, that was engaged, okay, by a Briton soldier, named Kent. Anyway, he ends up dying, but Gere actually plays a guy named Matt, and he really falls for this girl. It's really platonic, and he is trying to say that I'm not one of these guys. I'm just not like that. And I respect you, and they become like friends, and they, of course, they fall in love, but there's the problems with the fiance, there's the problems with the parents. The problem is he's going to have to leave. So all these issues are involved, and it's all during World War II, and and the servicemen being lonely, and having relationships with the girls, which some of it wasn't up. How would you say? They used them. Some of the servicemen just used them, didn't even care. They just wanted to get the girl.
Yeah.
But I thought it was a good movie.
There was actually two love interests going on in this, because William Devane and Vanessa Redgrave too.
Yeah, both of them were married,
mm-hmm.
and they got together.
Yeah.
And that was a rocky situation, and they both felt guilty, and you get all these emotions involved in this. And I thought it was good. I thought it was neat. And the critics, some were really onto, great performances and all this. Then others were saying it was boring. But it didn't make any money. It really didn't. It was made for $6 million. It only brought in like $4 million almost. Box office only 1.6. Rentals 1.6 million, something like that. I had never heard of it. And
I saw it. I saw it at the movie theater when it came out.
Did you?
Yeah, and it plays better on the big screen than it does
On the
TV.
TV?
Yeah. And I had not seen it since I saw it at the movie theater until we watched it, and to me, it was lacking in certain areas. It would have been more compelling to me if there was more war and a little less romance in it.
Well, there's no war scenes in it.
I know, and that's what makes it kind of drag on. If they had maybe cut to what they're doing at the base, how they're preparing, and done more of that, along with the romantic, the love interest part, I think that would have been, I would have liked it more then. It was just that some parts of this movie are a little bit slow, and they kind of drag on. And I have a very short, what would you call it?
Tolerance?
No, not tolerance so much. I don't even know how to say it.
Span?
Attention span. I have a very short attention span, so every once in a while I need something to, splash me in the face on the screen or something. But it's a good film. I wouldn't say it's a great film, but it's a good film. I actually I liked William Devane's character in the film, and Richard Gere. He's Richard Gere.
He's cutie.
That was before he got gray hair.
I don't care. Salt and pepper hair I like too, honey.
Well, I put salt and pepper in my hair every night, and I never hear you say anything about it.
Yeah, right.
So,
all right, you guys. Actually, I think this movie, could have done better. I mean, I'll give it like a 75. I mean, I liked it. I mean, this is what we watched this week. We watched a lot of movies this week.
Yeah, we did.
But this, some, average. But so.
I would give your film. I'd give it a 70.
Well, so.
I'd give it a 70.
Yeah.
At first, when you said you were going to review this one, I was thinking I'm going to give it like a 65. But then, kind of, as you talked about it, I'm remembering parts of the film better, and yeah, it was a little bit better than what I had remembered.
Yeah.
I would give it a 70. Not a great film, definitely a watchable film, and definitely worth watching if you see it on TV and it's free.
Yeah, there you go.
So.
Lisa Eichhorn's performance here, she was very leery about doing any nude scene. There is one kind of a nude scene in it, but she didn't want to be known to be one of those actresses to like disrobe. And this was her first movie. She did stuff on stage before this, and I think she did great. But yeah, she was kind of like, I don't want to be one of those that's going to be splashed up on the screen just because body parts.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And
the train they used at the end was an actual restored train. So this is not like all, Universal Studio stuff, and I think that's awesome.
Yeah. Well, I think one of the reasons this film probably didn't make as much movie as it should have, if you look at the cover of the film, you see Yanks, and you see the images on there, and you think to yourself, oh, it's a war movie, we're going to enjoy a war movie, and it's really not. It's about relationships during wartime. And I think that may have turned some people off that went to see it and were expecting a lot lot of action, and then it turned out there wasn't a lot of action. They talked to their friends. It's a love story. Oh, I don't want to see a love story.
Right. But I don't know. Maybe I was just in the mood for it.
I thought it was a pretty good film.
Yeah.
I thought it was a pretty good film.
I mean, I'll send it to Andrea because I know she'd like it too. It's not.
That's one of our daughters.
But I'm not going to keep it because we can't keep everything.
Yeah.
All right, guys. I appreciate you guys watching, and go spend some time and watch some movies, or get your mind off the world. And y'all take care. Push our buttons for us, okay? All right. Talk to you later.
Bye-bye, guys.